Good morning, Jackednnerdy Fans. Welcome to a very special review video. Today, because of the Easter long weekend and we had a few movies all getting released at the same time, this Easter long weekend I did a double header. Obviously, Godzilla X Con came out, but I also went and saw the new horror sequel, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. So before I jump into that review though, as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you guys never miss out on a video. And if you do enjoy our content, please make sure you give these videos a thumbs up. So last year they released a very, very low budget horror film called Pooh, Blood and Honey. If you go into my history, you will see a review video for that. Obviously, being a severely low budget horror movie, it didn't score that greatly. But it was a fun, entertaining, low budget kind of horror fest. But when they announced that they were doing a sequel, automatically I was intrigued. However, when they dropped the trailer and announced that not only was Pooh and Piglet in it, but Owl and Tigger were going to come into the fold, straight away that piqued my interest unbelievably. I really wanted to see how they were going to, especially with Tigger, how they were going to make him scary and psychotic and murderous and what have you. The trailers and the promo material I really enjoyed too for this film. I thought they did a really good job with the trailers and kind of sparking that interest again. So straight into it. Basically, the way that they tied this film into the first one, was actually really, really well done. Because if you didn't notice by the trailers, the character of Pooh looked entirely different. So the way that they kind of made the first film was a telling of the events of what happened, and now the sequel is the events of the actual characters who were involved in the original kind of thing. Not to completely ruin it or give away spoilers or anything like that. Basically, in this new film, they show on a TV screen the first movie. So basically, the first movie was a movie adaptation of the events of the 100 Acre Massacre. So what you're watching in the cinemas is the movie based on the events. Now, in the sequel, you're seeing the real people that were involved in that 100 Acre Massacre and the real characters and what have you. The other thing that they did very, very well in this, so in the first movie, they didn't explain to you how Winnie the Pooh and Piglet actually exist in reality. You're just supposed to believe that these characters are alive in the real world. And they don't really explain how or why. You're just expected to believe it. They did a really good job in this film of actually going ahead and explaining how Pooh, Piglet, Owl, Tigger, and all the characters actually exist, how they came to be, and why they're real life living people in the real world. So they really actually made a good job of kind of grounding it in reality and making it believable. So, obviously the very first film was extremely low budget, really poor visual effects, really poor costuming, whatever you want to call it. They didn't have the budget for a really in-depth kind of script, story, whatever you want to call it. It's almost like a couple of guys in college in their dorm room said, hey, let's make this film for a couple of $1,000. It would be really fun and entertaining. After it had a theatrical release, I can only assume that they made tons of money and now they've reinvested that money into making the sequel and making it bigger budget and everything else, which is it's obvious. Like, you know, the visual effects were 1,000 times better in this film, a lot more believable. Like, they really ramped it up a notch. So if you love horror, like, normally sequels to horror movies are absolutely terrible. But in this case, it was absolutely fantastic. They did a great job. As always, they leave it open for a third one. You know, I kind of hope they don't make a third one, because I do think this film was pretty good on its own, and I don't want them to drag it out. If they do, I'll probably go back and see it, just so that I can say I have seen it. But I kind of hope they leave it at the 2 films. What else? So yeah, visual effects were 1,000 times better than than the first one. Costuming was brilliant. Let's face it, you know, you go to these types of movies for nudity and for violence and blood. This movie has the violence and the blood down packed. The nudity is somewhat subdued. There is a couple of good scenes, let's face it, you know, and good scenes for both men and women, you know, but albeit they're not the centerpiece. It's not over the top. Really, it's the violence and the gore that's over the top of this, not the nudity, which, you know, I think is the way you want it. The casting, to be honest, all of the cast in this movie were basically unknown to me. I didn't know a single actor in this ahead of time. Basically, to me, they're pretty much all... actually, the only actor I think I might have seen in something else previously was Simon Callow. Otherwise, everyone else to me was basically completely unknown characters or unknown actors and actresses, which I think was good. You know, this type of film really needed that. You want it to have unknown people, low budget. You know, it doesn't cost a lot to get produced and made. At the moment, it's got a 5.9 on IMDB and a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'd give it that. I'd give it a 5 out of 10. Yeah, you know, it's not horrible. It's not fantastic. It's just right in the middle there. 5 out of 10. All day, every day. Knock it out of the park. You know, will I watch it again? Absolutely. I'll definitely watch this one again. I won't go back and watch the first one again. That was a kind of a one and done. However, the sequel, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, hands down, we'll definitely go back and watch it again when we're doing like a horror night or something at home. And look, really, there's not much else to say. I had a decent enough time watching it. I enjoyed myself. I'll definitely watch it again. It's got rewatchability, that's for sure. If you're a horror slasher fan, you have to see this film. It's just one of those, you know, given, you know, you have to go and see it. Make up your own mind. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Have you seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What are your thoughts? Do you hope that they continue the franchise and make another 1 or 2 films? I'd be very interested to know what everyone else thinks. So hit me up in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. And as always, hit that subscribe button. We've got heaps more content coming out your way over the next couple of days. And until then, guys, stay jacked and stay nerdy.